You're listening to Bedroom Beethovens, where notable music makers break down stories accompanied by songs and melodies documenting growth through their 10,000-hour journey. And me? Well, my name is Cello, your host.
I am a bedroom Beethoven.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 130 of the podcast.
Hey, man. Yeah.
My guest this week is...
My name is Vanderslice. I hail from Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. I make beats, fancy beats. Worked with Freddie Gibbs, Apathy, Action Bronson, Evidence, Slug, Jadakiss, Styles P, Ghostface. Like anybody that's like legit shows respect, and that's pretty much, that's what I take from it anyway. That's what I'm proud of.
After Afro loads, get these rappers to explode. Reading maps to magic roads, which I walk in satin robes. The Messiah, crucifier, who was flyer there? Elusive is Lucifer. I fuel the fire, using music to inspire. Uzi does it, Uzi did it. Let my Uzi spit it. Don't confuse me with them dookie motherfuckers getting shitted out. Spit it out, slit they throat and slowly I'ma bleed them out. It's the Garden of Eden, so best believe I weed them out. Just because it's pussy doesn't mean I'll always eat it out. Honky shit, Moby Dick, classics you should read about. Bugging out, gotta chill, 40 ounce, pop a pill. Turn your burners around like the cover for Kill At Will. Holy smokes, pour some liquor out, and if your homie croaks, heard a rapper biting my steeds, well I hope he chokes. Vanderslice.
The closest thing you're getting to the purple tape this decade, Vanderslice slides through the podcast to plug Enigma of Dalì, that blends surrealist art vibes with raw street rap for one of the year's most immediately engaging releases. And it wasn't an easy road to get here. Through this 10,000-hour journey, it's filled with brushes with the law, death, health problems, and even though obstacle after obstacle is thrown in his direction, what's important is he has the drive and perseverance to overcome it all and remain true to his Phoenixville roots and himself. With Enigma of Dalì, we're seeing two like-minded artists push themselves even further as they embody the experimentalism of Spanish Surrealist Salvador Dalì. Quite the concept indeed. But before we get to it though, this podcast is available wherever podcasts are available and on YouTube. So if you like what you hear, support me by subscribing to the platform of your choice. And don't forget bedroombeethovens.com is where you can find info on all past episodes. Right into the show, buy a shirt or sign up for the Patreon at patreon.com/bedroombeethovens. We have a lot to get into this week, so without further ado, Vanderslice, the superstar of the world, and your boy Cello, episode 130. Let's get it.
Yeah. So nice.
How are your 40s treating you, man? How have you been?
I'm good, man. Like, I had a rough patch there, late 30s, early 40s, because I'm 41 now. But, I had 2 heart attacks, 3 heart surgeries. I lost 135 pounds since then. Like aside from, my legal issues, which, nothing else is, I have no other issues in my life. I'm great.
I heard that losing weight put you in the hospital, though.
Yes, it did. I was
So you can't
going
win.
too hard. I was going too hard.
That upsets me because during this pandemic, I got a Peloton and everything, and I can't imagine paying $2,000 for a Peloton, losing weight, and going to the hospital because of it. It would just seem like bad. It would ruin my outlook on life.
Yeah, I try to remain positive through it all, but yeah, I was going too hard, man. Because I bought an elliptical, and it's again, they said $2,000 for a Peloton. My elliptical is gym quality. It was $3,700. Dude, I was just on it every day, and I was going too hard. My doctor's yeah, my first heart attack, I died in the emergency room, by the way. That was July 31st, 2018. And my doctor told me, I had a cardiac arrest. I was dead for 2 minutes and 38 seconds before they brought me back. And he was listen, you're 485 pounds. You need to be 285 or you'll be dead in 5 years. So I was all right, fine. So I started working out. I started swimming every day. I swam all through the summer into October before the pools closed. And then I bought an elliptical, and I was on the elliptical, and I was fine all of 2019 until like I was getting weird palpitations in my chest, but it wasn't a big deal. And then I had to slow down, but I was still killing it. And then I'm like I said, I'm down 135 pounds now. But I kind of peaked off like at the end of last year, all through the pandemic. I didn't really do much. And then I tried to get back into it really hard. And the end of 2020, I had another heart attack in December. Like I said, yeah, I was on the elliptical, and then I was just, dude, it gripped my chest. I was, what the? I was like, no way. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, no way. So I called 911. They bring me in, and it wasn't like a serious heart attack. Like it was just a blockage. And they're like, yeah, you were exerting way too much energy with this blockage in your heart because it was the widowmaker thing, like the artery that goes into your heart. And they call it the widowmaker because apparently it kills everybody. And he was like, yeah, you're putting out way too much energy. And now I got another heart surgery in March to rectify that. So I have 2 stents, one that wraps around, like they bent a piece of metal, which is like, some new wave stuff because they normally don't do that. That holds that artery open. I have another stent at the bottom of my heart, and I'm only allowed to exercise for 20 minutes at a time right now. So basically, I do 20 minutes on the elliptical, and then I go swim for a half hour, and that's how I'm maintaining. So, but that happened in March. I had both the surgeries. I got the vaccine, and, here we are in July. I'm just now being able to exercise. It was very serious. It was way more serious than I thought.
And to the disappointments of Christians everywhere, when you die, there is no pearly gates. There are no angels hoisting you up.
I saw nothing. I was let down. I didn't see any. Nobody in the red suit with a pitchfork, no bright light, no nothing. When I got revived, I felt like I slept for like 12 hours. I'm like, I feel refreshed. I was ready to get out of bed and go home. I'm like, dude, I feel great. And they're like, yeah, that's because, your heart has like 85% less pressure. Like my blood pressure dropped tremendously. And my blood pressure now is like 110/70. It's great. Like I'm maintaining a good, like I said, my mild exercise. I don't drink soda anymore. That's like that's the killer. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is the killer.
That's my vice, man. You know what? I wasn't a big soda drinker until I met my wife, and she's a freaking Dr. Pepper fiend. And now I'm a Dr. Pepper fiend, and I drink it with my breakfast waffles. I need to get off of it. It's killing me.
I'm a Dr. Pepper fiend too, so I understand.
Yeah. and to give you a little bit more info on me, I was born in 85. That's the same year the Philadelphia Record Exchange was created. I know it's in Fishtown now, but originally it was near you growing up, right?
Yeah. It was in a house in Temple. Like it was in somebody's house. Like it was when you would go to the Philadelphia Record Exchange, you'd like walk in the front door of somebody's crib. Like it was weird. The basement was the metal section. That's where I found every rock record that I flipped for anybody that rapped in Philly, Outer Space, Jedi Mind Tricks, Reef. All those rock records come out of that basement.
We're talking like $1 records.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I got to give you credit too, because you beat me to the podcast game. Yours was a bit ahead of the curve, but you said, but you know what? You said you alienated your audience.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, did we ever? We would set people up. Like the thing is, Green Steez and I, we both listened to Opie and Anthony. And Opie and Anthony were like a very toxic, attack the audience, like make fun of people, and just be generally mean to people. So we would hold contests. Like, dude, I remember the one guy that we had a producer contest, and his name was Nostalgia. Shout out to Nostalgia. We treated him poorly. I apologize if if you're still out there. I apologize. But like, we had a thing where like he would come on. We did like I said, we did a producer contest, so we invited the winner on, and we would just talk to him, and we were just talking to the winner. And we had a thing where we would ask, like, yeah, so what else are you working on? And then when they would respond to what they're working on, we would hang up on them and then laugh at them.
That's kind of funny.
To be like, hey, so what else are you working on? Well, you're not going to do it. Click, and then I had a trigger on my sampler. It would be a diode, so I'm like, bah! And then we would just laugh at them. And it's like we did that to. The worst part is they all fell for it, and it's like you'd think if you were watching this thing, like you would know, you'd be able to try to see it coming, man. But they never saw it coming, And then we held demo submissions, and all the demos were garbage. So we would just attack anybody that sent anything. We would just rip them, and it was just dumb. Like, it was just stupid. Like I said, it's funny. Listen, it's funny if you're not one of the people submitting. You know what I'm saying? But it's like if you're submitting, man, because the internet the internet's goofy like that, man. Like, people can't take jokes.
Well, they say, kind of don't meet your idols, but I mean, this podcast kind of gives me no choice. In fact, I was listening to a podcast with Moby of all people, and he had an opportunity to meet Neil Young at an event, and he actually passed because he said if he caught him on an off night or in a bad mood, he didn't want that bad experience of meeting him to ruin everything musically he's done for him. And
that's something that I guess I took for granted because I never looked at myself as anybody's idol. Like, even now, like, because when I stream on Twitch, like, I got a lot of people that are like up and coming producers that I try to help now. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, if I tell them all the time, like, yo, you realize if this would have been like 8-9 years ago, you guys would have got cooked. Now I'm actually trying to give like actionable feedback. Change this snare, like edit this loop, etc. Like, try to help people just become better musicians, which is something I never wanted to do. Like, I look back at that stuff. It's like I wanted to trash people. Like, we did it because it was fun. It wasn't like some like weird ego flicks. Like, let's just kill this new guy, because it wasn't even like that.
But producers are generally don't have a reputation of being mean. It's the rappers. Like, rappers are pretty awful in general.
They're awful. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like 99% of rappers I met were shitty human beings, man. I'll be honest.
I hear that. I hear that a lot.
It's just because the thing is, it's like this podcast realm is like you're not really meeting Ghostface. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're meeting interview Ghostface. Go try to record with him. The guy's a dick. You know what I'm saying? It's like the shit like that ruins it. But then like there's other people like, yo, us this much, the more street they are, the more humble they are. Like, the real super duper street dudes are like the nicest guys in the world. Like, dude, Styles P was amazing when we met him. It felt like you were hanging out with your uncle because he's like a little bit older, but he's super engaged. He was like, dude, he was awesome to him.
Well, do you think someone like Freddie Gibbs is more of a dick now that he has Grammy nods, or do you think he's the same guy he's always been?
No, he's the same guy. I guarantee he's the same guy because he rolls with Alchemist, and Alchemist is, like I said, I wouldn't call Al a friend of mine, but Al is an ally. Like, if I need something, I know I can hit him up. And if I'm having like some weird, like, I have a few allies when like business shit gets weird, like him, Lord Finesse, I could call, like, people that are just human beings, man. So, you know what I mean? If he's rolling with Al, like, because Al doesn't play high post with anybody. He's been the same Al since, like, I don't know, the late 90s.
That's all. I think my biggest point I'm trying to make is I'm just keeping your podcast seat warm until you get back at it. Maybe I'll go away.
How about your co-host?
Yeah, this shit's a lot of work. People don't realize.
Yeah, dude, it's brutal, man.
Well, let's run it back because Phoenixville was a classic Rust Belt town, a quaint suburb, if you will. They filmed the movie The Blob there. Did you know that?
Yes, they did. Yeah, at the movie theater.
Yeah, so
the Colonial movie theater.
I also heard, and you can confirm or deny, that the citizens there celebrate their town every year by burning a giant wooden bird.
Yes, the Phoenix Festival. And, the best one night when because they usually do it like in like the week before Christmas or whatever. So they just got done building it and some vandal burned it down before the festival. I fucking loved it.
Oh, come on. But it sounds like a great place to grow up.
I mean, it's fine. Like, like the property taxes got raised up 18% this year. They're trying to move somebody out.
Oh, no.
But it's like, yeah, it's bad now. Like, it's a hipster town. Like, they rebuilt a bunch of it. But like going like back in the day, it was a mix. Like, it was a mix because it was a blue collar town. You know what I'm saying? It was a blue collar town. It was people that didn't want to live in urban environments, so they moved out here to live. And now I don't know what it is. It's like there's giant apartment buildings everywhere.
I mean, your grandfather must hate it.
Well, yeah, he passed away last December.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude, he was the man.
Sorry to hear that. Yeah, I know you hoisted him up. He seemed like a really good dude.
Yeah, I mean, he was A1. And it's like, and the best part about my grandpa that I could tell people that, if you didn't know the elderly, if they have a sense of humor, like, I hung out with my grandpa more than I hung out with my friends. And like, I would roll with him. Like, we would just, wherever I was going to, I would just bring him with me. Like, we were just rolling with my grandpa. And that's just, because like my grandmother passed away like 9 years ago, and like he never even entertained another woman or trying to do anything. So, I was pretty much all he had. So I held him down the best I could, man. Pretty much till his dying day. Like, yo, he went in the hospital. We went in the hospital the same day. Like, that's where I had the panic attack. Like, yo, I like that. Like, that's the first, like, the second heart surgery I had in December. Like, I went out. I told him he was asleep on the couch. He was taking a nap. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go grab my prescriptions and whatever. I was probably gonna grab lunch. I was like, I'll be back in like an hour. And I got back. It's the middle of December. I got back, and the front door was wide open. I'm like, what the fuck? So I walk in. He's not there. I walked out back. He's not there. I ran up the steps. He's not there. I ran in the basement. He's not there. So now I'm just in a panic. And that's when my chest started hurting like really bad because I was running full speed. Because I knew he was fucked up because like he was sick the day before. And I'm like, oh my goodness, where did my grandpa go? And then I had to call 911, and I'm in the emergency room. And the doctor, like the ER doctor comes in. She's like, well, what's wrong? I'm like, I lost my grandpa. I'm running around my house. I started having a panic attack. My chest hurts. Blah, blah. And a nurse heard it from the hallway. She walks in. She's like, who's your grandfather? I'm like, Robert Grady. And she just points. She's like, yeah, he's in room 13. I was in room 16. He was in room 13.
Oh my gosh.
I got my heart surgery done. I came home and he never came home. Like he went from care and he went from the emergency room to hospice care Friday, and he died Monday morning. He went peacefully though. So you know what I mean? At 91, dude, what more could you possibly ask for? We didn't even cry, man. I'm like, yo, you know what? He went as long and hard as he could for as long as he could, and then just checked out peacefully, died in his sleep.
Yeah, I read that your brother would have been, I think, 45 next month, and I know your mom passed in her early, and I think did you have a stepmom named Sharon?
Yeah, she died as well.
She died as well, and I'm just like, man, Vanderslice, you better start having a gang of kids, man, because you might be all that's kind of left, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, my mom's died in 95 from cancer, man. She was only 35. And my brother
that's heavy.
My brother got killed by the police. And he was 20. I was pretty much battle tested. Like my brother was 3 years older than me, and he was pretty psychotic, man. Like he was like a professional athlete, but he was only 5'7", so he had that Napoleon complex, and he was a fearsome competitor to the point where like if you beat him in a Nintendo game, you had to fight him.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, like ridiculous. Like, and it's like, I'm 12, he's 15. If I beat him in Tecmo Bowl, it was a knockdown, drag-out brawl. And, I never won, but I held my own. So it's like anybody that was 12 years old and I was 12, it's like they couldn't do shit to me. I'm like, what are you going to do?
So if I'm a 13-year-old shithead and I beat you in Call of Duty, are you going to react the same?
No, I'm good. I'm chill. I'm like the complete opposite, man. I don't ever. The only time I rage at video games is like when, like especially Call of Duty back in the day. If you're on a mean streak, like you're on a big streak, and somebody kills you sitting in a corner, then you would rage. But it's like it's not. You're not going to go get in a fight over it. But he was just man. It's that competitive nature is why he was so good at baseball.
You did mention moving around. Your early music releases were not even in Phoenixville; they were in New York. So Phoenixville wasn't really where you wanted to put hip hop on the map. I mean, nothing. I mean, you had the Flying Dutchman, the Lost Children of Babylon, Burke the Jerk. I mean, there's a lot of people back in the day that were even comparing John Murdoch to a young RZA. So I know that there's some DNA of Phoenixville, but a lot of your early stuff was New York, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because we used to go to New York all the time to dig for records, and I met Access Immortal back in the day, and he was always a dope rapper. But more than being a dope rapper, he had access because that's basically his name. Because he was from Brooklyn, man. Like he knew everybody. He introduced me to Poison Pen, who's like my fucking brother. You know what I'm saying? Like Pen and I don't talk that often, but when we do, we pick right back up. It's like you knew him for 50 years. So I met him through there. It's like he was an open mic guy, so he was always going to the end of the week, and he was sharpening his sword, man. And then we just decided to do a record. And, DJ Next put it out, shot the Next.
Well, backing up with Murdoch, was he ever able to straighten out his life?
I mean, I talked to him. You know what? Yeah, he hasn't been locked up in a minute. But, dude, he was an arch villain, man. Like, I think they kicked him out of the town. Like, to the point where, they're not allowed to hold a residence here.
Don't let nobody else in this booth.
I see nothing but gangsters up in here.
1, 2.
I see nothing but ballers up in
1, 2.
here. I see nothing but those stacks up in here.
This mic
I see
on?
nothing but flossers up in here.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing, because he still gets his hair cut in Phoenixville. Like, he goes to the same barber. He doesn't drive out here. Like, yo, if he drives out here, they're throwing him under the jail. The cops out here, they have nothing better to do. So they singled him out, and it's just been years. His license has been suspended since he got it, and it's still suspended now. I guarantee.
Man, and it's just like I see so much great talent from that area that could have been a lot bigger if it wasn't if they just had their head on straight. And look, because you're here, when am I ever going to have an opportunity to talk about tri-state hip hop? So let's start with, I think you've heard of DJ Nicky Butters, right?
Nicky Butters, no.
He put out an unreleased 100X posse cut mixtape from the early 90s, and because I'm interviewing you, I fell down this rabbit hole, and that shit blew me away. It should have been way bigger than it was.
See, because I never heard of it, and dude, I loved 100X. Like, are you kidding me? Dude, Bad News is one of the best rappers ever.
Yeah. And there's a track on there with the Roots called 215. Black Thought's last album, Streams of Consciousness, had a track on there called 215. So 100X was like 30 years ahead of its time. I mean, R.I.P. Malik B. But I mean, there's a 19-year-old Malik B on that record. It's fascinating.
Yeah, I believe it. And listen, the mid-90s, like, I tell people all the time, like, I did love Wu-Tang, but like, my favorite rap music in the mid-90s, I'm talking like 95, 96, all came from Philadelphia. Like the Ram Squad, the Man They Call Lux, 100X, Ruggedness, Mad Drama, DJ Miz, like Koryak. Koryak's mixtapes used to sell thousands. Like, Koryak was pushing a Cadillac off of mixtapes. I love Philadelphia, because Philadelphia hip hop was raw. It was super raw.
Boy Backs and Tommy Hill were drug dealers, and Tommy Hill spent time in prison, but that didn't stop them from forming the Ram Squad. There's some resilience there. In fact, their last record had Cameron on it 20 years ago.
Yeah. And what's crazy about that is, like, like the street shit is like, they were getting packs from Joey Merlino, who's like head of the Philadelphia Mafia.
Oh my gosh.
Like they were building playgrounds. Like, it wasn't always like some super gangster shit. It was like, they were actually taking care of a lot of people. Like, the thing is, man, it's like, I know Tommy Hill snitched and all, but it's like, when you look back at the impact that the Ram Squad had, they opened for Wu-Tang at a club called Gotham, which got shut down after somebody got shot in the parking lot, that's Philadelphia in a nutshell. But, dude, when Wu-Tang came out, they got booed off stage so the Ram Squad could come out and do an encore. Like, listen, the Fat Cat Clique had a #1 song in 1996, The Flow, and it wasn't just #1. It was #1 on Power 99, like the main, like, that'd be like the Hot 97 for people that don't, it was like the main radio station. It got daytime radio play. It's unbelievable. And they took it nowhere. Like, dude, that's what's crazy about Philadelphia, man. They took it nowhere.
Niggas be making a mockery of this rap game, thinking it's all just about money and fame, but I refrain, cause in its pure form, the cultural aspects of hip-hop can be seen in those who live it. Wreck Mike, yeah, that's the spirit. Now if you're hearing this, the needs for you, cause ever since like 82, I've been busting asses on fake rappers with a solo with a crew. Exposing those who pull the wool over the eyes of sheep, mocking on analog formats, the antics of the streets are rap bastard.
Dude, those years were pivotal, man. Radioactive, man. Shout to Colby Cole, DJ Rand, Cosmic Kev. Like, the first time I heard Chino XL was on Radioactive. The first time I heard Mad Skills was on Radioactive. Like, there was a balance. It wasn't always just super gangster shit. Like, it was DJ Rand was amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I'm not even sure how new the beats are, but I was happy to see you on Access Immortals last summer in Brooklyn. I mean, you guys have been working for over 15 years now.
Yeah, I just did that, because he hit me up when I was like, of course, man. Of course. Like, anybody I have history with, they can always hit me up. Like, I'm not like a super duper, you got to send me $6,000 for a beat guy. Like I, especially if anybody that invested in me before I actually got any sort of notoriety, I'll still call them back. Like, I don't play high post with anybody.
But you said you respect someone like Freddie Gibbs, who you do have to pay for, and he does do a business transaction because he keeps it professional.
He's great, yeah. I don't mind investing in myself. That's a people that put a bad stigma on paying for features. I guess it's different for producers than a rapper. But, if I get an honest effort out of a rapper, I'm good. Like, my favorite song I ever wrote with, well, I say wrote, but, produced was Prodigy. And, we had to pay Prodigy. Kathy Andley hooked that up for me. And we put Conway and Big Twin on it, and they both ran for free. So it's like, it was like one investment led to a free look from Conway, who doesn't do anything for free for anybody.
Yeah, especially not now. I remember saying you couldn't afford Slug or Evidence on North American Money, but they did you a favor.
Dude,
but
Slug's the man.
No, I get it, but it also sounds like you damn well could have afforded them, because in 2019, forget OJ's Ford Bronco. It was all about Vanderslice's Dodge Ram. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was, dude.
That's some Rick Ross shit.
The record came out in 2018. I was still broke. But now, listen to just we're going reverse there. Like Slug, I hit up Slug because I wanted to do like A War. We did a song with Evidence for Everything's Awesome, and I was just going to put A War and Slug together to do a different version of that for the best album money can buy. And Slug was like, "Well, what's up with Ev?" And I'm like, "I don't know, man. I didn't even talk to him." And then he DM'd me back. He's like, "Yo, I got it. Don't even worry about it." So and then a couple months went by. I sent a couple beats. They picked one, which is the North American Money beat, and then they went back and forth, which is like, type of effort that takes when you're not actually in the studio with each other. Like he's like, "Yeah, I recorded 8, then he recorded 8, then I recorded 8." Like, he went above and beyond for me in a way that most rappers would not do. So like, I would never let anybody talk bad about Slug if I was in the room. I don't care what room it was. Like never. The guy's the man.
What we touched on is like, that incident happened just like a year later. And I, if you want to talk about it, if not, that's cool.
Memorial Day. It was Memorial Day weekend, 2019. I got arrested in Pittsburgh with 404 pounds of marijuana and $469,000 in cash. And like a couple weeks later, June 12th, at like 6 o'clock in the morning, I got indicted by the FBI for that same crime. And then the worst part is like, dude, I'm asleep, just chilling. I hear all this like thumping coming up the steps. It's like, because I was on the 3rd floor at the time, so I heard him coming up the first flight of steps, and I thought I was just dreaming. Then I heard my door open. The guy's like, "Eric," I'm like, "Yeah, what's up?" FBI running up. No, they ran up the steps like with a machine gun over a riot shield, like straight Call of Duty body armor. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, all you guys had to do was call. I would have showed up. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. So they dragged me out of my crib. They handcuffed me in the front. Like, they didn't even, like, I'm like, yo, all you had to do was call. I would have showed up. I walk out my front door. The entire local police force is out front. They blocked off both sides of the road with like police vans. And we're just like, there's like 8 guys standing on my sidewalk with like M4s, like machine guns. I'm like, yo, you guys are fucking like way out of pocket. So they take me down. I go in front of the judge, and I had my lawyer like send a proxy to the courthouse or whatever, because like there's no bail on at the federal level. Like there's no cash bail. Like you either get released or you're going to prison. And thankfully I was released to home monitoring, which I've been on ever since. And that was Memorial. That was June 12th, 2019, and I pled guilty in November 2019 because there's a point system which goes from 0 to 42 for the federal sentencing guidelines. I had 24 points, which is absolutely insane. Like that's like a level 4 yard. Like 42 is like where they give life and the death penalty, and then it just gradually goes down. It goes down by 4. So like 24 points is a max level yard. I'm like, dude, this is crazy. You guys are trying to send me to like Lewisburg. And I got a 3-point deduction for willfully incriminating myself. So, like they caught all 4 of us. There was 4 people involved, and one of them was selling weed to a gang in Pittsburgh. They were going after the gang, swept us with the same broom. They got all 4 of us. 3 of us pled guilty. The 4th guy snitched on the gang because he was the one selling to the gang. So I don't know. And then that's when they started fast tracking my case. My man Wayne, his brother killed himself over this, which is absolutely insane. And, I just been waiting to go to court for sentencing ever since. Like COVID pretty much saved my life, which is insane to say, but it's real.
Oh, so you can still like go to jail for a number of years.
Oh yes, I got sentencing in September. I didn't get sentenced yet because of COVID. But I got another 3-point deduction for my health, which takes it down to 18, which is 31 months, like mandatory. By the time I go to court, it'll have been 28 months. Like, dude, just let me live. Like, do not throw me to the wolves. Like, the 5-year mandatory got tossed, thankfully. And if I can get a self surrender, that'll drop it another 3. But look, man, you want to act as if, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that I am or I'm not until I walk out of that courtroom in handcuffs or a free man. I'm prepared to go, though. I'm prepared for the worst.
Well, the last thing I want to do is turn this into an MF Doom rap snitches situation. But what was your motive? Was it to use that money and buy bigger features to become a bigger artist? Because if you didn't get caught or arrested, you would have just snowballed this into becoming a better artist, or not a better artist, just more prolific features.
I would have paid Pusha T to rap. I would have paid, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have, because pretty much, like, all the money I made hustling went into the music, like all of it, be it records, samples, features, equipment. You know what I mean? Like, I have a high end computer. I got an MPCX. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got an Apollo Twin. Like, I have pretty much all like high end gear. I got high end monitors. All that came from hustling. So it wasn't like I was over here building a hedge fund. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad to see you've graduated from robbing blockbusters with former employees.
Yeah, dude. And the worst part, dude, that was so stupid. I didn't even pick him up, man. I didn't pick him up. The guy got out of my car because I knew he got out of my car and I knew he was going to do it. I got a conspiracy.
What was he, a disgruntled employee because he used to work there?
Yeah, and he just needed the bread, and it was Labor Day weekend, so he knew the banks were closed. You went in there Labor Day night, so it was like 7, 8 G's in the fucking safe,
and everybody kind of knows who he is because he worked there.
Of course they knew him. That's what I'm saying. I was like, of course they knew him.
Man. Well,
it's just knucklehead shit.
Knucklehead shit. Yeah.
That's supreme knucklehead shit.
Well, I've seen the shows. Locked Up, Scared Straight, Jail, World's Scariest Prisons. What can you tell me about prison that, like, you see the things that like they don't show on TV? Like, what was the main thing where you were like, oh shit?
Like, I mean, I seen a guy get tossed off the top tier and pretty much get killed. Get thrown off, and that was in the county, no less. But I mean, honestly, man, it's not really that bad. If you have self-respect, you'll be fine. Like, 'cause everything in prison runs on respect. Like, it's not like people are not predatory to the point where, like, there's the small guy, let's go attack the small guy. It's not like
the movies.
No, not at all. It's how you carry yourself. Like, I've never seen anybody get raped, but again, it's like I've only been in 2 county jails. Like, I never went to prison yet. But it's like, from what I hear from people that did time upstate and in the feds, that like most people that get raped, it's a power thing. Like, somebody like, if you owe a debt and you don't pay the debt, you already know it's coming. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's no avoiding it.
Rape.
Yeah, there's no avoiding it. Like, if you owe a debt, because like I said, they don't just rape people for the sake of raping them. Like, you got to bring it upon yourself.
You tend to get in your own way sometimes, or do you think?
Of course.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because we've graduated from the knucklehead shit. Now you're doing things out of for your career, out of necessity for life. And if you dodge this and you're like, hey, let me just live my life. What is going to make you stay away from doing something like this again? Because the temptation is always going to be there. Making
it legal would actually help me, and because I know people that run labs. I know people that are doing legal versions of it. I would just try to get into that. Like, my man A War started Cushy Dreams, which is a CBD company. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's plenty of avenues if you were into that life. If you're into, and the weirdest, I never smoked weed a day in my life. I never even tried it.
But correct me if I'm wrong. the reason why you had $600,000 is because it was illegal. If it was legal, you wouldn't be able to profit that much.
Yeah, not at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
But I mean, listen, the temptation at this point, like, I do have a modest stock portfolio, building a nest egg. So, I don't have to take the risks. And the music is much different now. Like, I have Matt Diamond in my corner. I have Fat Beats. Like, I have an imprint. So, like, I don't have to do everything myself. So it's like the finances are different. You know what I'm saying?
You got me, brother.
I appreciate it, man. Like, because listen, man, like, because I can't tell you I wouldn't take that risk ever again. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, Especially if we were going to start scrambling again, like that way, I would just stay way under the radar. Like, listen, if you move, 10 or 15 pounds of weed, you can pay your bills and survive. You don't need to move 500 of them. Like,
Because they just announced a series where Stro Elliott, Damu the Fudge Monk, and DJ Jazzy Jeff will release solo efforts based around the KPM catalog, which you may or may not know where I'm going with this. But I wish that you either would have been selected or known about this ongoing series, because I think it would have been a dream project for you. Do you know who worked as the composer of library music for the KPM label maker?
Keith Mansfield, Alan Hawkshaw.
Hawkshaw, there you go.
He just had a stroke, man. Terrible.
Oh no! How old is he? He's up there?
Yeah, he's like late 60s, early 70s.
And I think that's why he's opening up the catalog. And I left off a name on purpose. You know who else is on that list of producers that they opened up to? He's actually been on this podcast, but J Live. And do you think he's deserving of being on that list? Has his production gotten better?
No. And I love J Live, but dude, he should just stop, man. These beats are terrible. The worst part about the worst part about that is the fact that like he's so passionate about it, but like he's a novice. He doesn't have the ear, he doesn't have the chops, man. And I don't care. Like, and again, I love J Live, dude. I'm a big J Live fan. We hit him up for a feature, and he said no. I'm like, all right, I think because I'm telling you, he probably heard that I didn't fancy his production from somebody and just was like, well, fuck him. But it's like, I'm just honest, man. Like, there's a bunch of people that I like that aren't great fucking producers or great rappers. The great human beings are trash. Like,
he got mad at me because I told him that he overprices vinyl, and he says, "Well, I'm not Taylor Swift. I'm indie," so he got upset at me.
Yeah, see, again, fuck you for that too, asshole. Dude, I hate people that do that shit, dude. The price gouge on your vinyl, man. You're an asshole if you do that. Like, I'm not counting his pockets. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care, dude. Earn what you want to earn, but it's like, you're like when you're trying to, it's so short sighted to try to sell a record for $100 or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Mock Hami and all that, like, dude, they're awful human beings, man. They're scammers.
Oh my God, Rap Ferreira is the worst. That guy, Rap Ferreira, he charges like $140 for a black normal vinyl, and I'm just
it's not even a collector's item. What a piece of garbage.
Yeah, open edition, everything. That shit, because I'm a big vinyl guy. I own your vinyl, by the way. And
thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and that shit pisses me off. But the KPM library contains 30,000 original recordings of non-commercial music, and
it's great.
Imagine the shit you could do with that. And someone's just going to use the hook from the Champ by the Mohawks,
exactly. They're going to use the bass. Like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to use the 1000 series, and that's it. Not even realizing, like, KPM owns a bunch of music, like a bunch of music. Yeah, I don't get any of them looks. Like, that's the type of stuff, like where I said what I was saying earlier, because I guarantee you Jazzy Jeff hooked that up. Like, it all went through him. It had to, because he's the only one that has that kind of access. Like, because like, but especially you probably call Will Smith to get anything he wants. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, man, the business is based on relationships, and I have none. Like, I have none.
Did you ever find the RKM library, the Beat Action vinyl?
Oh, I got it. I'll send you a picture of me holding it.
Yes, sir.
You could use that for the cover. Dude, the thing's amazing. That's
what I'm talking about. Well, tell me about someone like Johnny Pearson. What about them inspires you?
Dude, he just made action music. He made predated hip hop. When you go listen to, especially his KPM records, like where it's like super cinematic, like Cop Show, because that's like my aesthetic, man. Like Cop Show, Pimp, Hoodlum, dramatic, investigative music, man. He was the king. And I think it was because he composed around the drums and then took the drums out, whereas a lot of people didn't do that. Like Brian Bennett was a drummer, so he would always compose to the drums. Like dude, those library musicians were like the first guys to use loops. Like you hear Hawkshaw talk about the Champ. The Champ, he was just riffing with like a drum track playing that they recorded. Like, just play those drums. It's like, that's the shit, we're keeping it. Yeah. Yeah, predated hip hop, man. Library music, it was predated hip hop, especially if it was done well.
And you worked with, because you mentioned you have a team behind you with Matt Diamond and all that. You work with Chinga Chang Records, which the greatest feat they ever did was resurrect G-Rap, and then they put Hillary Duff's sister on the hook of a premiere beat, which is the weirdest shit in hip hop that no one talks about.
Dude, Dan was a goon. He was a goon. He was a real estate hustler where he was buying patches of land off of eBay and then upselling them to like people that were in the real estate market. That's why I'm pretty sure he got indicted at one point or another for that. But yeah, like, dude, I was there. Like when he wanted to put like his cousin on a song with G-Rap. I'm like, no fucking way. I was just like, no way. Dude, he rented a mansion in Bucks County, which is like 45 minutes from me, that got in the sticks. And he wanted me to bring my equipment over to the mansion and just set up shop. Like, yeah, we're just going to run everything out of the mansion, out of a rented mansion, dude. That, he was a character, man. I'm pretty sure Domingo robbed that guy blind, though. It's good for him.
I got a few stories, man. He tried to sign Amanda Bynes, but it didn't happen because she blew off a meeting with Wyclef Jean.
Yeah, I believe it. Like, I don't want to call him fake because he wasn't fake. He was just goofy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had the capital to make a lot of shit happen, but it was all from scams. So it's like,
Wow. Yeah. Lindsay Lohan's dad tried to use the label to get a record deal for his daughter, and the deal ended after he threatened the CEO with violence. So
yeah, I bet it.
You had all this music from Rakim, Big Pun, KRS-One, and he was fucking with Hillary Duff and Lindsay Lohan's less famous sisters. It's the weirdest shit.
Yeah, and again, he's a goon. Like, if you met him, like, he looks like a Neanderthal. His head like slopes back.
Was Man Bites Dog Records any better of an experience?
No. Like Lynch, like Ryan, I'll say this much, man. He invested money without asking questions. But the problem is, like Stu was asking the wrong questions. Dude, you're paying people like the ridiculous. I didn't understand why we were paying people I gotta look at the track list. That record sucks though. The only songs I listen to off of fucking Diggers with Attitude are the Slain and Ill Bill joint. That's pretty much it. This record was mixed poorly. It sounds like shit. And it was like the icing on the cake. Like, one of the reasons I don't mess with Stu anymore is like, somebody tweeted to him that they liked the gusto, and he thanked them. And I'm like, you didn't have anything to do with that song. Like, you didn't produce on it. Like, you didn't fucking connect the dots. Like, dude, I'm the one that brought rock to Man Bites Dog, and the guy cut a deal behind my back. I'm like, like, why the fuck wouldn't you just, like, what are you doing? Like, the original idea for this whole thing, Stu was going to produce an EP for Ja'Kai the Motor Mouth. The label had a falling out with Ja'Kai or something. I don't know. I don't remember what it was. I didn't ask. So then Lynch suggested we do a producer record. And I'm like, well, look, I can fucking reach out to, Apathy is a friend of mine. I can reach out to Rock Marciano. I can, we got access. We could do this, but I'm not paying anybody. It's like, if you want to do a producer record, you got to put up the bread. I'm not paying anybody. And when we reached out to Rock Marciano, Rock's like, well, look, why don't we just do a split EP? I'll do like 3 or 4 songs, and I'll get, this the way he quoted it. He said, I'll get my man Action Bronson to do 3 or 4 songs. And the label guy shut it down, and he said to me, this is an exact quote, Action Bronson doesn't have any sales history, bro. Like, you motherfucker.
Oh my God. Did he pass on the Netflix deal as well? Like these.
Yeah, exactly. Jerk off. Like, and again, like, dude, that's the start of the relationship. That wasn't mid. So then we, I got Apathy, a Payday. I got Rock, a Payday. That's why they have like 4 or 5 verses each. I was like, look, man, if we're going to do a producer record with people that we know, just pay 2 or 3 people to be like the focus and then build around those. It'll be easy. We won't have any headaches. You didn't want to pay Stallone to mix it. That's why it sounds like garbage. The only songs Stallone mixed were the Gusto. He mixed the joint with Vinny Paz and the Slain joint. Everything else was mixed by their in-house guy, who's a full sale bum with no talent and no ear for production, and it just sounds like a 2-track mixtape. So I don't like it at all, and I don't rep it. It's just awful. But now, what was your question after that?
No, I just wanted to say Stallone is the man because he can make Awar singing sound good on the chorus. So big ups that.
Dude, he killed it.
I can't walk away. No, like he's singing on the hook. Oh my God.
And Scott layered his own vocals underneath that. Like, I was at Scott's yesterday, man. We're mixing the new Verbal Tech EP, which is fucking great.
That's awesome, man. Well, I want to I guess, give you the floor to talk about Enigma of Dalì. I mean, you were talking about this way back in 2019. You seem to be proud of it. It seems to be mixed well received. What else do people need to know about it?
Yeah, my man UFO Feeve and I, like, we already did. Listen, Feeve and I we have so much chemistry. Like, we already have the next record done. Like, it's already done. It just needs to be mixed. I mean, we had a couple hangups, man. We were waiting for the vinyl. Like, we turned it in last August and just got the vinyl like last week.
But you're one of those people that doesn't do the pre-orders, and people have to wait 8 months. So I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. No, we wouldn't do it. I mean, that type of shit, man. It's lazy, and it's you're scamming your fans, man. Because like I have a record with Mooch from Mooch and Riggs, like the cloth, and we're shopping the record now to try to get the vinyl. It's like, the vinyl's going to be 5-6 months out. So I'm like, listen, we're not putting anything out until we got the wax. Because that's the only way you make money in this game, especially at the indie level. The only way you can make money is you got to have product in hand to ship. Because, dude, people appreciate it so much more.
Absolutely.
It's our favorite record. It's our favorite record we've ever done so far. And it's all organic. Like, there's no huge features. Like, we didn't try to go get fucking West Side Gun and Conway like everybody else tried to get a plug. Like, we got our man Smooth. It was his birthday yesterday. Happy birthday to Smooth. My man Red Infinite, who's like the home team. Like him, I tell people that Feeve and Red are like Rain Ghost, like the Purple Tape Rain Ghost. Like, they have that street element where it's real, it's authentic, it sounds good, and they're both super talented. Because I produced all the beats on Red's EP called Revenge of the Have-Nots, and like this is just a continuance of that. And the next record's going to be a continuance of that. We're just going to keep pushing, man.
I appreciate your honesty and your time. You didn't seem too annoyed with the questions.
No, I'm good, man. Hey, this has been great. Listen, plus, like, you like when you ask things that people don't even know about, that's good for me. Because anytime I spread this to anybody, if anybody asks me a question about something, I'm like, listen, just listen to this. I'm just gonna, because I don't want to answer their questions. You see, it's the circle. Shit, I appreciate you having me, man. This was dope, man. This was one of, this is the best interview I've ever done. You get the prize.
Awesome.